Now then, lads, and welcome back to a rather late video. Today I thought we'd have a look at the brand new Panzer 4Gs which have been added into Enlisted. For those of you who don't know, in the Reserve update, there were two new Panzer 4Gs added. There was a regular one that was added to the tech tree, and an upgrade to the Stalingrad one. So I thought I'd have a look at them, see how they play, and what I think of them. So this is going to be a bit more of a thoughts video rather than a gameplay video, because I've got some interesting thoughts on both of them. So yeah, let's get into it. So, to begin with, let's start the Stalingrad variant to kick it off. So, the first big thing you'll probably notice about this is it's got a brand new look. Not only do you now have an iron cross proudly displayed on your turret, you've also got some extra stuff like a bit of wood, a few extra jerry cans. But you don't really have any extra tracks, so you don't really get any extra armor, which is interesting, because the older version did actually have that as a feature, but that is now gone, which is a bit disappointing to me. But what is the Stalingrad version actually like? How does it play? Well, it's pretty interesting. Unlike the regular one, you don't just have APCBC as your anti-tank round, you also get heat to replace your HE round, and also APCR. Which is interesting. I like the addition of composite rounds and heat, but I have a few problems with it. First of all, although heat is a really nice addition, it feels kind of underpowered and kind of underwhelming compared to a lot of other heat rounds, but also the regular HE. It's nice to have it. It's obviously nice to have all three rounds have the ability to fight tanks, but I found heat the least useful in tank-on-tank engagements, and not brilliant against infantry. So, although it's nice to have it, it feels a bit of a downgrade, or a side grade in some cases. As for the composite RAM, the APCR, it's a really nice addition, but it kind of feels like it's only there for up tiers, which I believe is its main use, which I'm absolutely fine with. I like the ability to take on the more dangerous allied tanks, but I didn't really use it as there's not a lot of it. You only have 10 rounds, and from what I used it, I didn't really get much out of it. I found it kind of a cool addition, but not something that I really needed. And finally, for the APCBC, it's the regular, the same one. It's pretty decent. It's good. If you're used to the Panzer 4J, yeah, it's pretty much the same round. So yeah, it's pretty good. As for the armor layout, it's the same, pretty much as the normal one. You still have that technically 80mm plate on the front, which is cool. But overall, I think the Stalingrad version, it's fairly nice. It's not awful, but I feel it needed a little bit of longer time to kind of bake. It feels a bit of an underbaked change. For example, I wish there were some extra tracks on the front. I wish the original version that we got in Stalingrad had kind of kept on, but then they'd added to it, because they didn't. It would have been nice to have a bit of frontal armor, because I think that's like the biggest problem with this. But overall, it's a nice variant. I like it. I'm certainly not complaining because it's free. Obviously, the biggest problem is if you're not a Stalingrad Pass owner and you didn't own it, you're not going to get it. But I don't think you're missing out hugely, really. But hey, it's a nice build. I like it. Yeah, it's fairly decent, but more of a side grade. Anyway, that's pretty much what I think of the Stalingrad version. Okay, so now onto the regular version of the Panzer 4J that's in the base tree. So this one is pretty much the same as a Stalingrad one, but it's basically just been ported from War Thunder, so it doesn't have the extra armor of the tracks, and it comes in tan now. So overall, this thing's not bad. You've got APCBC and HE, which are both pretty decent shells. You've got a pretty decent gun. Your armor's not brilliant, but it's, you know, it's competitive. You're good enough. in all fairness, this thing isn't bad. It's essentially just a Panzer 4J with no shirts and on the turret. You have faster turret traverse speed, and you have a little bit less armor on your front plate on your hull. But other than that, it's not bad. Playing this tank was very much felt like using like a Panzer 4J or the F2, which is a compliment. I like those tanks. Well, I like the F2 and the H. I don't like the J much, but that's a different argument. Essentially, overall, I think this is a good tank. I think it was inevitable that it would be added. Like the Panzer 4G, as far as I'm aware, was one of, if not the most common variant of the Panzer 4. But yeah, it's nice it's finally been added for everyone. Do wish they would have just made the Stalingrad one the free one and the new Stalingrad one the to replace it, but they didn't because, you know, why give the fans cool shit? Am I right, Darkflow? But yeah, other than that, the Panzer 4J and G in the tech tree, it's a competent tank. You have a good gun. That's really it. There's not much to it. This is just like your bog standard German medium tank. It's pretty good against most of your enemies, except T-34s. You actually have to aim then. They don't, but you do. Isn't it fun being a German main? He lied. So, overall, what do I think to these tanks? I actually think they're decent. I mean, I do wish Germany had gotten a bit more in the update, but these tanks aren't awful, and it's nice that the Panzer 4G has finally been added for everyone else. But overall, these tanks are pretty much kind of just fillers. The Stalingrad one, I'd argue, is the standout one. It's the interesting one, since it's kind of just like a premium that you can put in a squad. But other than that, there's really not much else to add, in my opinion. I think these tanks are decent enough. It's nice that they're before the Panzer 4J. But yeah, other than that, really, these tanks, a lot of you will have the Panzer 4J and therefore probably won't need this. But yeah, overall, if you enjoy the Panzer series of German tanks, you'll probably enjoy this. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching this video on whatever this was. And thank you for watching again, and goodbye.